Hey, co-host.
Hello. Wow, that was tricky.
Yeah, it was in Zoom. It was webinar. We figured it out.
Okay, so can you make me co-host?
Yeah, your co-host.
Okay, perfect. So I am co-host, and then there's a couple things I need to do. Can you see? Oh, there's participants.
Yeah, Jane and Angela have arrived.
Okay, hi guys.
We'll give it another minute or two to make sure if anyone else is coming, and then we'll get started. Nice. We can see you in the chat.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, we're trying it for the first time, and it'll be super interesting. And it's great, Joe, because we can have it recorded. And we can take clips of it when I promote the next ones because I think
Oh,
it,
sweet.
yeah. So let's give it another couple minutes. I'll introduce you and we can roll.
Awesome. How you doing today, Joanna?
I'm doing good. I actually was terrific promoting this because it's like I feel like I know it inside and out now.
We got to start somewhere.
I mean,
And
no, it's amazing to do these because you're kind of like everyone needs to know about this. Everyone needs to know about
not too many because then the
I'm
people
gonna
with black
tell.
coats will show up at my house. So it's like only select few, you know? And Angela and Jane get to be the first to see the first Iron Hawk webinar. Congratulations.
Well, I think we definitely had more than that signed up, but we know how that goes. So it's good. We'll at least get the numbers
Yes.
that like
Yes.
what we can expect. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can chat any questions you have when you're watching the presentation. If you have any questions, definitely I'll answer them. And if you need any factual evidence to support what I'm saying, I could go to Google and bring it up. So this is, engaging if you need it to be.
Awesome. Thanks, Joe. So let me introduce Joe. Joe, can everyone see us now? We're broadcasting, right?
Angela and Jane, are we broadcasting right now?
Can you guys let us know that you can see us? Yes. Awesome. Okay.
Awesome.
So Joe famously was on the show that I was producing. He has been doing this. He's a legitimate consummate veteran. He's been doing this for 23 years, correct,
Yep.
Joe?
Yep.
And about 16 of those on Wall Street, 17.
Yep.
And he has written three books. There's a Better Way Than a 401k, um, Be Your Own Bank, and then Long Term Care. Uh, there's
Without long-term pain.
Without long-term pay. Thank you. And I believe you've been chosen as top broker several times by different companies. And
Yes, I've
yeah,
yep.
and top 40 under 40 and been in
Yeah, that's this one right here. Top 40 under 40 in the country for finance. Yep.
that, right. So, and you've been in a bunch of publications, including Forbes. I know you've been on 200 podcasts because I know a lot of the podcasters, but right.
Yep, and I had my own radio show. Yeah, it was fun. It was
Okay,
definitely
so,
fun.
so there's your intro, and so I wouldn't trust really just about any. I had to agree to the PR person to host Joe on our show, and they were tough judges, like critics, But you won him over, so then I got my license and came to work with him. So take it away.
Well, welcome, Doreen. Doreen just showed, so welcome, Doreen. Uh, any questions you have, feel free to put them in the chat, and I'll get started. So don't waste any more time. So I'm going to share my screen, and we'll go from there. So, all right. Let me go to PowerPoint. There we are. So today, what you're going to learn very simply is a proven strategy that's been around 180 years that the ultra wealthy use to save themselves millions of dollars in taxes. Um, and there's a lot of other benefits here. So I'll get into it. Home and slideshow and from beginning. So I'm the owner and founder of Ironhawk Financial. As Johanna said, I've been doing this for over 2 decades, won 30 industry awards, featured on many publications, have over 3,000 clients with zero complaints on the Better Business Bureau. And I handle over $3 billion. And you can just Google me or my name, and it'll verify that I'm not, you know, that I'm telling the truth. So we're going to start with simple helicopter view stuff so I don't lose anybody because this is a complicated, complex strategy that was made by millionaires and billionaires for millionaires and billionaires. So this is called the tax triangle, right? There's three places to put your money from a tax standpoint. You have bucket A, which is called tax me three times. I don't know if you remember double taxation or the representation, the Boston Tea Party. We picked up guns, we killed the British over a 1% extra tariff on tea. Well, now if you look at your cell phone, your automobile, you're taxed up to 7 times on one asset. Seven. And I did not misspoke. So when you look at the tax me three times, it's where you have your checking, your savings, CDs, brokerage accounts, and money market accounts. These are vehicles that any money added to these accounts, you can't write them off. So you're using after tax dollars. So you already paid federal, state, FICA, Medicare, unemployment, Social Security tax on those dollars, and you put them here. Then any growth you're taxed on it, you pay capital gains tax, or long term or short term. And then when you spend the money, you're taxed again, sales tax. Woohoo. And over here, this is called tax me later. This is where most Americans get confused when they go to their accountant and they're like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Accountant, can you please help me save taxes today? That is the wrong question. The correct question asking your CPA, your accountant, your tax attorney is how do I save money over my life? That's the difference of instant gratification versus actually building wealth. So the Tax Me Later account has your 401k, your traditional IRA, your SEP, which is a simplified employer pension, your simple 403b, real estate, business equity. These are vehicles where the government says you're going to make money today, but you don't make anything, and I'll prove it to you. This is where your account value increases over time, which means your tax liability in that account increases over time, and you pay more tax on more dollars in the future. It's literally like, from a lifetime standpoint, it's like a reverse mortgage on your own dollars. It's the worst place to put your money, period. And I'll prove it to you. And over here, it's called Tax Me Never Ever Again. This is where you have your Roth IRA, which is the government's best retirement account. You have municipal bonds, which bonds and interest rates are inverse. So as interest rates go up, bond values go down. As interest rates go down, bond values go up. Nobody's really owned these for about 8 years because interest rates were zero. They had nowhere to go but up, and then they did go up. So nobody really owns bonds, especially in their retirement, which is kind of scary because that's the thing that hedges you against risk. And then you have this thing called cash value life insurance, right? Well, why is this important? Well, let's say you're contributing $15,000 a year. You could contribute less, more. I'm choosing try to use simple numbers so I don't lose you. You contribute $15,000 a year, and you do that for 30 years, right? Into your 401k or an IRA or a retirement account. And you say, I want to go with the government, okay? Rich people don't invest with the government. Let's be clear. So you do that, you put $15,000 a year away for 30 years, you end up putting away $450,000 of your own after tax dollar or before tax dollars. So for every $15,000 you put away, you have what's called a write-off, and you have something that is fake called tax savings. It doesn't save you anything. It's called tax deferral. The last time I checked, I watch NFL football games when they lose the coin flip and they defer to the second half, they still have to do it. They don't say, "Oh, you saved to the second half," right? So let's say you're putting away $15,000 a year for 30 years, and let's say you're a high income earner, right? I work with celebrities, sports athletes, professional sports teams are my clients. And let's say you're in a high tax bracket. I'm going to use 28% federal, 6% state, just to make it simple math. For every 15,000 you put in, you save air quotes a third, which is $5,000. A third of 15 is 5. So you do that for 30 years, and every year you're like, look, I don't have to pay $5,000 in taxes this year. This is amazing. And I do it for 30 years. I just saved, or the real word is deferred, $150,000 in taxes. Yay, my accountant's amazing. Here's your $800 to click some buttons and do my taxes. So now you're ready to retire. You're older now. And for every $100,000 net that I need to live on, I have to pay $38,000 in federal taxes, right? Because if you just go to the federal tax bracket, the year, if I gross 138, 38,000 is federal taxes. You see what I'm leaving out? I'm leaving out state taxes, FICA, Medicare, unemployment, Social Security. I'm only talking about federal, okay? So $38,000 a year I have to pay. So I have to gross 138, pay the Federal Reserve or the U.S. government $38,000 and at the 100 in an account that I saved with the government. So I retire at 60. I live till 90. $38,000 a year times 30 is $1.12 million if taxes don't go up. But taxes are going up, and I'll prove it to you. So if taxes stay the same, I'm going to receive $150,000 in what's called deferral, not savings, but that's just what they give you because our culture is built on instant gratification. So I save 150 grand in your accountant's words, or I defer in my words, 150 grand, but it cost me 1.12 million. So if I said, "Hey, I got this great opportunity, girls. I'm going to give you 150,000 over your 30 years of working and saving for retirement." The only caveat, assuming taxes don't go down, is you're going to owe me 1.12 million in taxes. Deal? Nobody takes that deal when they actually look at the real length of time. I've never, in my 22 years, meeting over 10,000 people, has anyone said, yes, that makes perfect sense. Once it's spelled out to you, because men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Once it's spelled out to you, you understand that this is not good, okay, for you. It's great for the government and great for Wall Street, but not great for you. So let's assume you need liquidity, right? I work with a lot of business owners, a lot of builders. My father was a builder. He owned JV Lombardi Builders. He ended up falling 3 stories off a ladder, lost a $27 million construction company that took him over 3 decades to build. Hence, I got into this profession to help other people, mostly blue collar business owners. That was my main focus of work until I opened it up nationally. So when you take a look at 2008 liquidity, well, when do people need access to the retirement account? Is it when the market's doing well and banks are lending at 0%? Or is it when banks stop lending because the money dried up and the market went down? Take 2008, take 2020, take 2022, take 3, 4, 5 months ago with the tariffs, right? The market had a huge correction, right? So people access their money when things aren't going well because that's their nest egg. Well, let's talk about the liquidity. If you go with the government and you need access to your money before you're 59 and a half, most likely in a down market, per 100,000, assuming the market only lost 40%. If you followed the market in 2008, it's way more than 40%, but I'm being very kind to the 401k in every single scenario. So per 100,000, the market lost 40. That left you with $60,000 of value per 100 left in your account because you had a loss. Then you had to access it. And if you're before 59 and a half, you pay a 10% penalty. That left you with 54. Then you had to pay state income taxes unless you're lucky enough to live in the few states that don't have state taxes. I live in Connecticut. I'm not one of them. So that left me with 54,000. Then I had to pay federal income taxes. That left me with 36,500. And that does not include FICA, Medicare, unemployment, or Social Security tax I have to pay on that same distribution which pushed me under a third. I just ran out of spots to put it. So, with my strategy, if you were to Google on your own, the rich person's Roth Forbes magazine. If you Google rich person's Roth Forbes, there's two articles that pop up fairly quickly. One is written by a certified public accountant, and one is written by a certified financial planner. One from 2018, one from 2020. So per 100,000, my strategy guarantees you not to lose. They actually have a guarantee of positive growth over time. And rates of return of well over 20, 30% in a year tax free, which a lot of people don't understand. If I earn 10% tax free, that's like earning 18.5% taxable in my 401k. So there's a guarantee you will not lose in writing on your retirement account if the market decides to go down. You also are guaranteed no 10% early withdrawal penalty by law. And that law is called IRS Code Section 7702. And it is far more superior to IRS Code Section 401k. So then you take a look at, is there any state taxes? Nope. How about federal taxes? Nope. Well, how do I access my money tax free then? Well, you take it as a loan. Loans are what? Legally tax free. That's what the rich people do. That's how you see a billionaire pay himself $1 and and live a lifestyle that costs millions and millions of dollars a year and pay $0 in taxes because all of his wealth is leaned or leveraged. And that's what I teach my clients to do. So my clients have access to 100% of their retirement account with no market loss, no penalties, and no taxes legally. Then you take a look at building a foundation. I digress back to my father. He had $27 million in real estate, business equity, risk, which was a stock portfolio at the time at Payne Weber, luxury, Audi S8s, boats, jet skis, second homes, but he had no financial foundation. He had no life insurance. He had no disability. He had no retirement income. He had no long term care. He had no college savings for me or my sister that was born 2 pounds, 7 ounces fetal alcohol syndrome and was almost murdered by my stepmom because she drank vanilla extract and Listerine while she was pregnant because my dad was in AA. I had a crazy life, but yes. So, and it also, what he did have was a savings account. So, what this serves as is it serves as a strategy to legally protect you financially from one of the four things that are guaranteed to happen to you. There's no other path a human can go from being born to passing away. I either live long and die, I either die early, I either get disabled, like my father, or I need long term care, like my grandmother, who lost $4.2 million to a nursing home in Fairfield, Connecticut. So what my strategy does is says, hey, if you live long, let's get you a pension. But you know what's better than a pension? How about a tax-free pension? Wait, what? You can build one of those? Yes, legally, you can. What about if I die early? Well, there's a tax-free benefit to your spouse, to your children, to a charity, legally tax-free. Well, what if I get disabled? Well, I'm going to build a plan where they'll accelerate your death benefit while you're still alive. So you will receive your death benefit while you're still breathing, up to $1.5 million in cash while you are still alive in writing. Well, what if I need care? What if I can't drive myself, clothe myself, feed myself? Oh, no problem. We're going to give you $30,000 tax-free cash a month to keep you home and not be put in a 10 by 10 jail cell known as a nursing home with a stranger where you don't get to pick your own food. And if the person taking care of you is having a bad day, you're getting bed sores. We'll prevent all that because you get to hire and fire your cook. You get to hire and fire the person giving you your medicine, changing your clothes. You have that right. So do you think the ultra wealthy go to nursing homes when they're old? No. So they stay in their own home, celebrate Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, birthday, 4th of July, Super Bowl with the people they love. So I bring this to the middle class. I bring it to the blue collar. Hence, I was on the cover of the Who's Who in Building and Construction. Financial guy. Shouldn't like a plumber be on that? No, they put me there because I work with thousands of them around the country. So when you understand that this is not baloney, this is real, this is a law, an actual IRS code 7702 that will protect your spouse, will protect your children, most importantly. I have three of them. Been my wife since I was 18. I'm 41. So when you see that you build that foundation, what allows you to do is build the other assets free of any risk. My father never did that. When my father fell 3 stories, he had no disability insurance, so everything he built over 36 months was gone. So then you take a look at diversifying. Aren't we taught when we're like 5 years old, don't put all your eggs in one basket? But every single American I meet has all of their eggs in one basket. They have real estate, taxable, business equity, taxable, a retirement account, usually an IRA SEP or a 401k, taxable. They have no tax-free assets. And the few that I meet may have a very small Roth because the max you can put into a Roth is 7,000 and that's a year and that's if you're making under 156 grand combined if you're married. Very few of my clients make under that. So they have no tax-free assets. And then what else don't they have? They have no market diversification. Their house, their retirement account, and their career, job, or business all are correlated. They move in the exact same direction. When it's good, it goes up. When it's bad, it goes down. And they have no diversification of what if the market goes down? What if taxes go up? What if inflation goes up? What if interest rates go up? They have nothing. So by diversifying where your money goes, let's say, hey Joe, I already have an IRA. I already have a 401k. Well, I'm not going to have you cash it out and get nailed with penalties and taxes this year. I'll lose my license. So what my goal is try to diversify. Take some of the dollars you were funding your taxable accounts and put those in legal tax-free accounts. And if I'm good enough and I can get you to 50% of your money's taxable and 50% of your money's non-taxable, you save 66% in taxes. Well, how does that make sense, Joe? I know math, and if half my money's taxable and half my money's not taxable, when I just save 50% in taxes? No, because taxes are based on an increasing scale. The more money I claim to the government I make, the more they tax me. So if I claim to the government I make less money, they're going to tax me less in retirement, which is the most serious and volatile time you need to understand about your finances. If you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s, and you have a job, you can get a loan. Who's going to give a loan to a 70-year-old with no income? So when you hit retirement, when you say, I'm done, the most important thing you can do is protect yourself from inflation increases, from taxation increases, and I'll get to that. That is the most important thing you can do so you can maintain your quality of life. You cannot do that in a 401k. How many people do you know, your aunt, your uncle, your dad, your mom, your brother, your sister, your grandfather, your grandmother, that are living an amazing retirement? They're not. Because they're dealing with inflation kicking their butt. They're dealing with increased taxation kicking their butt. And they're barely surviving on millions of dollars because they can't take it out the next day. Try to take $1 million out of your 401k, you'll net 500 grand. So your number in your 401k is fake. Cash it out. You're not going to get what's showing on the screen. It's not yours. Half of it belongs to Uncle Sam. So why do so many Americans keep investing, very poorly, by the way, with the government? Because the government rigged the system to keep you enslaved. If I have to work and half of what I earn gets taken away from me and I have no say in where my labor, my time on this earth given to me by God, I don't have any say in where that goes. That's a definition of slavery. So I free people, and it feels amazing. And if you already have qualified assets, I could save you 66% on taxes. Well, how? Well, the first $50,000 you earn is taxed at 12%. But then the next $50,000 you earn is taxed at 24%. By diversifying where you pull your income in retirement, the first 50 grand is still going to be taxed at 12% because you're still pulling it from accounts you created before you met me. But then the next 50,000 you pull is going to be taxed at 0% because you were smart enough to listen to facts and laws to put you in a better position in retirement. So would you rather pay 36% per hundred or 12% per 100,000 in retirement? Silly question. Then you take a look at a Roth IRA. This strategy is also known as a rich person's Roth. Hence, I asked you to Google the Forbes article, which you can do after the meeting, or I can send it to you if you care to. With the Roth IRA, which is the best government sponsored retirement account, there's still a 59.5 year rule. There's still a 10% penalty for early withdrawals. Wealthy people don't handcuff their dollars for decades. It makes no sense. And Roth IRAs still have FILO, first and last out, which means if I put in 10 grand and it's worth 20 and I go to pull money out before I'm 59 and a half on my government tax-free account, guess what I pay? Penalties and taxes because they make me take my growth out first before I can access the actual tax-free dollars, which is my principal. Then you take a look at market risk. Your Roth is tied to your 401k, which is tied to your job, career, or business, which is then tied to your home if you own one. So you're not diversifying anything. You're diversifying a very small account in the scheme of things. And it's very expensive. Did you know that when you own a 401k, an IRA, a SEP, a 403b, a 457, those are all IRS codes, by the way, right? 401k, 403b, 457, 529 college savings account, and I'll get to that. Those are all IRS codes, but they're pretty high. 400, 500. My code is 7,702. Huh. Why is mine buried in the IRS code book, the one I've been using for decades and enjoying a seven-figure lifestyle? Why is these all up top? Because these are the ones the government's like, no, 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 do that one. That's the one that makes Wall Street half of your contributions. I didn't stutter either. So if I pay 1.5% in fees, what are the fees I pay? 12B1 fee, Class A share fund fee, money management fee, annual account fee, mutual fund expense fee. If I'm paying half, well, what's 1.5% times 30? Well, if it was simple and just on my principal, which is under principal and growth, 1.5% would be times 30 would be 45%. Grab a calculator. 1.5 times 30. So if it was a simple fee, I'd be paying 45% of my contributions. Well, there's no way, Joe. I'm not paying half of my contributions and fees to Wall Street. Think about it. If you start at $15,000 a year, year one, what do you think it's going to be worth in 3 decades? Well, that'd be worth about 3.5 to $4 million dollars. Well, what's 1.5% of $4 million dollars? That would be $60,000. Wait, that's what I put in year one, two, three, and four. They're stealing from me in year 30? Yep. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. Fact check every word. This is all recorded, by the way. So if I'm paying over half of my money in fees, what about when I take it out? Well, then you have federal tax, state tax, FICA, Medicare, unemployment, and Social Security tax. What's that? That's 50%. Wait. So you're telling me, no BS, that I pay over half my money on the way up and I pay half my money on the way down? Yes. What does that leave you with? That would be a quarter. You have access to 25, less than 25% of your money. Well, yeah, I put in $1. It's worth 50 cents because Wall Street's gonna, and I worked in Wall Street. It's demonic. Um, Wall Street's gonna take half, okay, and then when I pull it out, the federal and state government's gonna take half. One half is 50 cents of a dollar, and then half of the 50 cents is 25 cents. Yes. And that's if taxes stay the same. That's if you're lucky. And why do I believe taxes are going to go up? Well, I'll show you. So, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but you guys are all welcome to Google it yourself. Just go to usdebtclock.org. And if you go to usdebtclock.org, you will see that we owe $37 trillion. $37 trillion. How do we owe $37 trillion? Oh, the government's been stealing money from Social Security, from Medicaid and Medicare, and from your 401ks. They're leaning your money. They're stealing your money. And we'll pay you back. I owe you. Because that's the government. You deal with the government, you're dealing with $37 trillion of US debt that they're stealing from you. While your money's still there, they're leaning it. So they're just borrowing it. They're just taking your money while you tie it up for 40 years. They're just gonna borrow it. Huh. Do you think rich people like that? No. They don't like other people borrowing or taking their money. Well, why do I think taxes are going to go up? I don't know. Let's take a look at a history lesson, shall we? In the 1913, there was no tax in 1912. Zero. Then they said, you know what? That it was optional. It's called ATF, alcohol, tobacco, firearms. That was the only three things taxed in the United States of America in 2012. In 2013, they're like, oh, well, everyone's paying for taxation. All right, I guess we'll make it mandatory. Any complaints? All right, pass Congress, pass Senate. All right, now we have a mandated federal tax. If you don't pay, people with guns will show up to your house and put you in jail. If you don't wait, if you don't steal my time on Earth, you're gonna put me in jail. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what we agreed to. Oh, cool. I mean, I was born in 1984. I didn't agree to this, but I guess my great great grandparents did. I don't know. So then you take a look at 2013. Well, it was mandatory 7.5%. Well, do you ever hear the phrase if you give somebody an inch, they'll take a mile? Well, I'll show you the mile that the government took from us. Ready? 7.5. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. 60 months. Went from 7.5% to 77.5%. What? You're saying 2019, 2020, 2019 there was no taxes. 2020 there was a mandated 7.5%, and by 2025 taxes were 77%. Here it is, right here. By who? By Statista, the most reputable statistic company in the country. Huh? That's weird. Well, how do I find this picture? Just type in Google 100-year federal tax bracket picture. Not that hard. It took me like, I don't know, 9 seconds to find it. So you see here, we had what? World War One. Taxes went from 7.5% to 77.5%. Then we won World War One, and they were gracious enough to drop taxes down to 25%. Oh, we're only keeping it over 300% of what we originally said before the war, after the war. Oh, thank you, United States. You're amazing. I'm now only paying 300% more. I mean, look at your electric bill, right? That's what they do. So then we had the Great Depression, which it dipped 1%. Can you imagine the market losing like 80 points and like everybody going nuts and lines, people starving to death, and the federal government's like, all right, we'll drop taxes, which by the way was one of few times they dropped taxes in the history of the United States. We'll drop it 1%. Oh, thank you. During the Great Depression, which was what? 20, 1928 to 1933, right? Then we had what? World War II. Huh. So World War II taxes went from 25% within the same 60-month period to 80%. Wait, what? 25 to 8? It's another 300% increase. Dang, this government is thirsty. They're just taking everyone's money, right? Yeah, they are. And what are you doing about it? If the answer is nothing, you're the sucker. You're the one taken advantage of. Do something about it. There's legal ways for you to protect yourself. So then you take a look at, okay, I'm at 80 points, and then it goes to 94%. I mean, that's just, I mean, who's gonna work? I mean, 95. You work 365 days, you get to keep like 2 weeks of your pay. It's insane. This is factual, by the way. You don't have to believe me. Do your own research. I'm just showing you facts, right? So then you take. Then do they teach us in schools? Of course not. You know why? Because the government owns the educational system. They're not going to tell you, hey, people that we're educating, the government's sort of not a great place to put your money. You should probably go to the private sector where all the billionaires and millionaires and trillionaires put their dollars. No, they're not going to teach you that in public schools or in college, which is basically an extension of public school you pay a quarter million for. They're not going to teach you. Think about it. Put yourself in their shoes. They're just trying to enslave you and steal all your money. That's a fact. So then you take a look at, well, dude, 1960s. 1960s, that wasn't like 1802. That was, my dad was born in 48. So 1960s, he was a teenager, right? What was the highest marginal tax rate there when he was 21 years old in mid 60s? I don't know. Try 90%. 90? For how long? Oh, you can count. It was over 80% for 2.5 decades. No, I would have heard of that. I would have heard of that in economics. No, the educational system owns the government owns the educational system. They're not going to tell you what the government does wrong. Who writes history? The winners or losers? Think about it. So then, how about the 1980s? I was born in the 1980s. Was the highest marginal tax rate? I don't know. Try 70%. It dropped to 69.13. Here's the drop right here. It was 70%. We live in the second lowest tax environment federally, right? They just increased FICA, Medicare, unemployment, Social Security, state. To be, look, FICA's not too bad. Well, they're just ripping you off and all the other taxes to get you back to where these numbers are. It's all about how they present, right? You had sales tax, property tax, car tax, cell phone tax, alcohol tax, tobacco tax, gas tax, federal tax, FICA, Medicare, unemployment, Social Security tax. You are taxed to death. To death. You get to keep literally 2 to 3 months of your income if you add all the taxes up, right? I live in a nice house. I pay $14,000 a year on a house that's paid off. I own the house, but you know what? I don't own the land. That's how they get you, right? I own the wood and the sheetrock, but I don't own the actual grass and the dirt. The town does. Cool, all right? The U has the gold, has the golden rules. So when you understand what's really going on, what are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? If the answer is, I'm not doing anything about it, why? There's legal ways. How does Elon Musk make hundreds of millions of dollars a year and pay $0 in taxes? Huh. How does he do that? Well, I'll tell you. Let's say Elon Musk wants to buy a rocket, $100 million SpaceX rocket. He has two choices, right? Two choices. He can sell $200 million of Tesla stock, right? That comes with, he sold it, so now he has to take that as income, pay $100 million in taxes, lose all the future growth on that $200 million of Tesla stock because he sold it to somebody else. Somebody else going to earn the growth on it, not him. So he's going to pay $100 million he's in taxes. He's going to lose out on all the growth on that said money. Well, what do you think he does? I don't think he does option A. What he does is option B, which was my clients do. He takes $100 million. You don't need $100 million. I'm just using that as an example. He takes $100 million of Tesla stock to a bank. Get what's called a collateralized assignment, a lien, or a loan. However, you want to lower the verbiage down so you can actually understand it. So he takes a loan for 100 million. Are loans taxable? Last time I checked, loans are legally tax free. So how much money do you pay in taxes to get that 100 million check from the bank? $0. Zero. Wait, didn't you just pay 100 million? That's what everybody else does. That's what all the suckers and sheep do. That's what the working class does. Because they're too busy raising families, running business, getting back on their bills, fighting credit card payments of high interest. They're too busy doing that to spend the time to do this. So again, thank you for coming. So at least you learn this. Whether you do anything about it, that's totally up to you. I can only lead you to water. I can't make you drink. So he pays $0, $0 in taxes to buy $100 million rocket. What did he had to pay something? Ready for this? If I lien an asset, do I still own it? Yes. He still owns the $100 million of Tesla stock. Wait, so in option A, he sold 200 million. This one, he still owns 100 million. So what happens when you own something? You still earn the interest. He still owns it, still in his name. He still gets the profit. So let's say the Tesla stock goes, I don't know, 10, 15% a year. Call it 15 for simple math. So the Tesla stock earns 15. He pays a loan rate of, let's say, 5%. So that means he's making 10% profit on a loan. You know what that's called? Negative interest rate loans. Can you imagine going to the bank, you take out a loan for 100 grand, you only got to pay him back 80? That'd be cool. Well, that's what the rich people do. That's what my clients do. So he takes the loan. The Tesla stock out earns the loan rate that he's paying the bank to borrow the 100 million to buy the SpaceX rocket. He paid $0 in taxes. He sold nothing. He buys the rocket, makes another whatever, couple billion bucks. You can do it on a smaller scale. You can do it in dollars. It's still the same thing. Same strategy. That is called, if you want to Google it, that's called non-direct recognition. Non-direct recognition. What does that mean? That means when I have, let's say I have $100,000 in my account and I borrow 90 to buy a car. I take the money out. I still earn interest on 100 grand because the insurance company, in this example, non-directly recognizes the loan and pays me as if all the money's there. Oh, what? Huh? That's not legal. Why doesn't everyone do it? That's a scam. Well, do you think the big banks and the power that be, Wall Street and the federal government and Federal Reserve, want everyone to know this? No. It's legal. I was a lobbyist for ALU. I have pictures of me being in the White House after 5 o'clock on Friday when it's closed in private dinners with senators and congressmen because I was a lobbyist for this code. Because I made my living, I raised my 3 children, I've been with my wife. We live a very lavish lifestyle off of this code, freeing people from the government. So when you understand that this is not BS, when you understand this is real, well, how much money? I'm not a millionaire. You're talking about all these millions and hundreds of thousands. I have clients give me 500 bucks a month. I have clients give me $50 million a year. I just probably rolled over, I don't know, $30 million in the last 3 months. Cool. Great for me. But you don't need to be at that level. You got to build your way. You have to start. If you were already rich, you'd have a tax attorney, a tax accountant, an S corp, an LLC. I didn't get into all the advanced stuff. This is the easy stuff. This is the like beginner stuff. I can show you strategies. You open up an LLC, you put your kids on payroll. You can wipe out. I got 3 kids. I wipe out $53,000 a year of taxable income. I pay $0 on that. Then I take that money and I put it in my strategy called the Index Universal Life Policy, and I take before tax dollars and put them in an account that's legally tax free. There's some really cool stuff you could do, and I don't want to overwhelm you or confuse you. I'm just showing you the basis of advanced planning. This is not new. It's been around 180 years. It is managed by A plus carriers, double A carriers that are worth billions to over $1 trillion. But the average American doesn't know it exists. So how did $380 billion go into this last year? Who put that there? If the average American doesn't know it exists, who put it there? The ultra wealthy. It's literally called The Rich Person's Roth, Be Your Own Bank, which is a book I've written, Infinite Banking. This strategy is not new. It's now starting to gain popularity on social media. I don't know how long that's going to last for the government to start censoring it, and there will be a hit piece out on this strategy to try to defer people from doing it. Guaranteed. Once this gets too big, the government will throw a hit piece out. That's what they do. So if you understand that this is real, I've been doing it for years. My son, I have a 16-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 10-year-old. I have a boy, and girl. My 16-year-old son has more money in his account than I made 4 years ago. He hasn't even worked. He's 16. I'm just about to get him a car. He's about to get his license in November. So he's 15, about to be 16. That you can put on your kids. All I put it on my kids right when they get born. Well, why did I do that? Well, let's talk about college planning, shall we? Even though I don't like college unless they want to be an engineer, doctor, or lawyer, but let's digress. This asset is non-disclosable legally on the FAFSA form and secondary form when I apply for college loans. Well, why is that important if you have children? Well, it doesn't disqualify your children from grants, scholarships, low interest rate student loans, or financial aid. So what does that mean? That means I'm client A. I have $2 million in cash. and I'm going to qualify for low interest student loans, grants, and scholarships. You have 100 grand in your 529 that you saved, scrapped, borrowed, stealed to make sure you had money for your children's education. You have to disclose all of it. So who's going to get the loan? Me with on paper, I don't have anything because I was smart enough to build an account that's not legally seen by the colleges. Because you know that pesky thing called HIPAA laws? Remember HIPAA? Remember, no one's legally allowed to know your health information? Well, that same law is built into life insurance. Do you think rich people like that? They love it. They get sued. They can't even find that asset. They'll find the house, they'll find the 401k, they'll find the 529 college savings account. They will not find this asset because, again, it's the law. Ooh, I wonder why they built it that way. Because it's made by millionaires and billionaires for millionaires and billionaires. So if you understand that what I'm telling you, when you look at what the average investor is doing, and you take a look at what the affluent are doing, they have teams, they have lawyers, accountants, CPAs, attorneys, tax attorneys, financial planners, they have all that stuff. This is what they do. They don't do 401ks. Think of like a baseball player gets a $700 million contract, like Shohei Ohtani. He's a baseball player, went from the Angels to the Dodgers, right? Do you think he puts his money in a 401k or an IRA or even the bank? He is the bank. He puts 700 million in an overfunded IUL, and then he leans the money out and pays $0 in taxes on the 700 million. Crazy, right? So if you understand that this is not BS, this is real. I can personally build you a plan in, I don't know, 20 minutes. I could show you. I could try and do it in the next 12. Let's do it. So I'm a broker. I have access to hundreds of carriers. So I'm going to use this company, National Life. Well, why would I use National Life Group? There we go. Why would I use them? Well, if you look online and you just Google, well, who sells the most of this stuff, of this IUL thing? Well, just type in, well, all I did was go to Google, type in highest IUL sales 2024 LIMRA. LIMRA is the governing body of the insurance industry. Well, the number one selling company is National Life Group, and they put in $117 million a quarter, and they have what 31,000 new clients a quarter. Well, what was that for 2024? Well, if they just stayed the same, which they actually did more than this, that would be 117. That would be a billion just in this company went in, and over 120,000 new clients. So people are starting to wake up. Good. So then you take a look at, okay, well, what is this National Life thing? Okay, let me log in real quick. I'll build you a plan in less than 10 minutes. I'll get you on your way. And I appreciate you spending time with me today. I see we're all still here. I didn't lose anybody. That's good. Good for my first run. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, please put them in the chat and I'll answer them, by the way. So, as you can see, the last year I have 91 new clients and over $1 million went into this strategy. I have another 273 of anticipated premium, another 320,000 of new business coming in. Those are people that said yes, that are waiting for approvals. And I have one transfer where someone's put in 290,000. Huh. There's my code. And I'm in Diamond Club, which is the highest you can go, which means I was their number one producer in 2024 out of 82,000 licensed agents. I was their number one producer. I have the award coming to my house in about 2 weeks. I got back from the Bahamas to prove it. And I have pictures if you want to see it. So you take a look. Well, what are you talking about? I'm gonna invest in life insurance as my retirement. Is this guy smoking crack? No, you're investing in IRS code 7702, which is embedded in the death benefit of an overfunded permanent life insurance policy. Hosted spotlighted your video for everyone. I don't know what that means, but okay. So I'm trying to log in. Let's see if I can log in. Go back. Illustrations. If not, I can bring one up if this isn't loading. Come on, load, baby. So basically, how it works is you meet with Johanna. She learns your assets, your income, your liability, your time horizon. She does what's called an open. Do you want to work with us? Do we want to work with you? If that's mutual, then you're booked on my calendar, and I spend time booking, like going through an actual illustration. I don't know why it's not loading. I could probably just bring one up I just did today. Go to downloads. Let's see. IUL. Here we go. Here's one I just did. Okay, I don't mind the name. This guy put in $52,000 a year. Okay. National Life Group, just so you know, they're worth $47 billion. They're an A plus rated carrier, which is the same rating as the US government, which, okay, I get it. US government's like, but they have the military. So if the dollar falls, they still got the military to make other countries, use it. But that's what they did with Saddam Hussein, and I can go on and on and on. I digress. So you take a look at they're worth 47 billion, A plus, A plus, A1. Very, very strong company. Very strong. Then you take a look at, well, what are the, rates of returns and all that? Well, I don't know. How would an average of 14% tax-free returns over the last 15 and 20 years sound? 14 tax-free? That's like earning 26% a year in your 401k because that's taxable and this is tax-free. So when you look what the millionaires and billionaires do, they don't own assets, they buy option contracts. This is where I'm going to lose most of you, and I'm sorry. But an option contract is called a call, a put, a stop, or a warrant. And what those do is they bet on a set asset. So they don't own the speculative risk, they own a contract on the growth. So if the market goes up, they make 245% what the person owning the risk earns. Again, how is that legal? It's called derivatives. Very simple, very complicated. Google it or do your research. So, if you understood how this strategy works simply from a standpoint of using IRS codes, leveraging the best carrier with the highest returns historically, with the best riders, because not only have you super high returns, what about benefits? Well, for this gentleman, I believe is about 43. He's 44. So he was concerned about what? He said, well, what if I become terminally ill and I'm 65 years old? They're going to pay you $1.2 million in cash while you're still breathing. But I thought it was life insurance. It is life insurance, not death insurance. What? Oh, there's a difference? Yes. Again, words matter. When you played the game of life and you got your fire insurance, your car insurance, what did they say? Life insurance. People conceive life insurance as death insurance. It's not. Death insurance is term life. And if you own that, I'm sorry, because it's not going to cash in and you're going to throw away a lot of money unless you're a miracle, 1 in 2.7 million probability that you're going to actually use it. So you have terminal illness, you have chronic illness. What's that? That's your long-term care. They're going to pay you up to $30,000 a month tax free. Tax free. Do you know how much you'd have to cash out of your 401k to net 30,000 a month? That's 360. Well, that means they're going to pull out 580 to net the 360. And that's 1 year. What about if I'm in it for 4 years? You just lost 2 million bucks. See ya. That's my nest egg. What about my healthy spouse? Oh, well, he or she's broke because you had to eat up all the assets because you didn't have any strategies to combat against a guarantee if you're lucky. Because if you don't make long-term care, that means you died. You go into this world in diapers, you go out of this world in diapers. That's how it works. And it's not my fault. It's a fact. So if you understand, okay, if I get terminally ill, what if I need long-term care? What if I get Alzheimer's? What if I get Lou Gehrig's? Like my dad now has dementia, and I'm his power of attorney. So I got to deal with him while he's sitting there with Parkinson's disease, drooling all over himself, can't even talk. His dementia doesn't even know where the heck he is. Fun seeing the person that protected me and provided for him my whole life. But it is what it is. But he's in a home when he was worth $27 million. What the heck? So you see why I'm so passionate about this? Because he had every ample opportunity to have some quality of life while he's dealing with some disease, and instead he's thrown in jail. And I couldn't take care of him with three kids, a business. I coach. My daughter's on the U.S. Olympic tap team. I'll be in Prague in 7 weeks in Czechoslovakia. Competing in South Africa. I can do it. I did it for over 17 months, but I couldn't do it anymore. So when you understand it, they're going to give you a check for up to 1.5 million in cash. So you have a choice. Take the 1.5 million or take 30,000 a month. How about what if critical illness, critical injury? What's that? Heart attack, stroke, cancer. They're going to cut you a check for up to $1 million in cash while you're still alive. That's life insurance, not death insurance. So if you understand, and I'm sorry, I'm very passionate about this because if I could protect you girls that are here, I would be the happiest guy in the world because I would protect you from the market going down, taxes going up, inflation going up, a sickness, an injury, an illness, an accident, and I would protect you financially while you're dealing with something emotionally, spiritually, mentally. I can be there to help you. And that is my call of God to go out there. I suffered a lot when I was a kid with my mom dying at 52 with no life insurance, my grandmother having a stroke, losing 4.2 million after she lost her husband and my uncle, her son from Agent Orange from the war. When I watched my dad fall 3 stories when I was 15, had to raise my sister who was 2 pounds 7 ounces with fetal alcohol syndrome because I wasn't 18 and I was shh, or we would have went to DCF. Are you kidding me? Like this is important. And that's something that I strive to make sure that I can protect you. And at least I educate you on this and I applaud you three ladies for being here. But just understand, at least I know that you can't say I didn't know. That's what my dad told me. And that's one of those things where I wanted to make sure and tell as many people as I can. I can't get too big because I'll get knocks on the door by scary people to STFU, but I'm trying to free and save as many people as I can leveraging codes. And if you want to look me up on Google, 4.9. I have one star review from a competitor because I stole three of their client or their agents and he got mad. A plus, Better Business Bureau, zero complaints, zero. I've never lost a client $1 in 22 years. I never charged a client $1 in 22 years. My services are 100% free. Well, how do you make money? The investment companies, insurance companies I work with, they pay what's called a first year commission for every dollar I bring them. So I don't have to double charge you. So I don't. If you have any questions, reach out to Johanna. You can send an email to info@Ironhawk Financial. You can send an email to Joanna at Ironhawk Financial. Johanna,
Email
sorry.
in the chat.
Perfect. So you have her phone number. Look it up. Meet with her. She'll walk you through a fact finder and get you on my calendar, and the entire process is free, whether you decide to work with us or not. I appreciate the three of you taking your time out of your busy day. And if there's something I can do to help you, I would love to. And with that, I'll leave questions for the last minute. If you have any questions, put them in the chat.
I'm looking. It might take a minute to get to the chat, but yeah, you guys, thank you for coming on. This is our first one. You right? For the most part, you had a kind of a test one with Rudy Joe.
Yeah, this was basically the first one. Angela, if you would like to be able to rewatch the recording, send an email to uh, Johanna at ironhawkfinancial.com. She'll send you my books, my articles, my magazines, my website, my radio show, my YouTube video, all and the recording for free. I just want to get this information out there. If it's hard for you to research it, we'll give it to you all. And then you just fact check and back check the information that we send you so you know we're not fully, you know what.
And and I want to take a minute to say, Joe, you're doing this for your team. Like this is for me. I mean, for lack of a better way of putting it, I asked Joe to do this, and the more that I marketed it and talked about it, the more I got passionate myself because I was researching how we really just don't know these things. And so I'm going to ask him that we make this a series, because not everyone can get on all the time. I'm also going to start putting things on Substack and different mediums so we can get the word out, because it is just this straightforward, but like hidden. And that's unbelievable to me, coming from Eastern Europe and like coming to America, looking like, how does everyone have all these like houses and money seem to be constantly circulating, and like I didn't know how that worked. Well, the legacy families know, the wealthy have known, and the middle class doesn't know. We're taught to put our money, as he said, in 401ks and IRA. So thank you, Joe. Thank you
Well,
so much. Thank you, ladies, for
yeah, I greatly appreciate Angela, Doreen, and Jane coming. And if there's a way I can help you, I'd love to help you. Reach out to Johanna and she'll help you. And with that, I hope the three or four of you ladies have a wonderful evening.
thank you, everyone. Bye.
Take care.